excited about this conversation that we're going to be having on Huddle Up. And I'm always excited about all my topics, but this one in particular, because I think it really connects with anyone who really wants to ensure that they're communicating, at least in their personal appearance, the story that they would like others to believe about themselves. Hi, everyone. My name is Lorraine Phillips, and I'm the host of Huddle Up. And today we have Nicole Grant with us from Styling Granted. I actually love that name. I like how you play on the word granted. Thank you so much for being here. We had the opportunity and the privilege to sit down together in person, which is really, really nice because so often we meet people virtually and we never get a chance to actually sit down. And it was so nice to connect with you in person and just to see how first of all, how aligned we are in terms of what we are trying to accomplish for our clients in terms of ensuring that they are presenting their best self. And so being able to sit down with you a few days ago over coffee and just to hear about your story and then to poke a little bit on your Insta, which I really enjoyed seeing you do your little outfits and just give some wonderful ideas about how you can pull yourself together and really, as I said earlier, project yourself. So thank you for being here on Huddle Up.
Well, thank you for having me, Lorraine. And yes, it was a pleasure meeting you a few days ago in person. Like you said, for the most part, when we meet, face to face, we get so much more out of the conversation. And so knowing that we have a lot in common, it just allowed the bond to just elevate from where we were to where we are now, actually, and on a virtual. And so with regards to our commonality around styling and just elevating women to be their best selves in what they wear is, I know we were going with this conversation this morning. So stay tuned. Those of you listening, it's going to be a great one.
Awesome. First, I must compliment you on the yellow. I love the yellow as we're kind of in the spring. For those of you who are in Bermuda, we've been through a little bit of a transition on the weather. We're not quite sure if it's winter or summer, but Nicole has started the summer and sort of started heading us into summer to the spring. So you look beautiful on this side of my screen. So I'm going to start off with just a couple of warm-up questions before we get started. So tell us one thing about yourself that others may not know that you feel comfortable sharing.
Sure. So one thing that many may not know about me is that I actually did some of my undergrad education in the UK as a student exchange student. And that was actually my second encounter in the UK. And another surprise would be that at the age of 18, I traveled to Wales to do the Outward Bound experience, which is similar to what is happening here at the Duke of Edinburgh. Those are two, I'm sure people that would not know that I'm an outside girl. I'm totally extrovert, as well as one that loves the outdoors. And so there you have it.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't know that about yourself. It's so interesting a lot of times when we reflect back on unique experiences that are quite revealing about who we really are, that sometimes even the people that are in our inner circle may not even be aware of that. So it's always nice to hear that. And then one last question, because this one is always, this will determine if this interview is going to be fun or not. So here we go. Which cup match team is your team?
Well, let me tell you very much. So you
She leans into the camera.
I see that you have on one of the colors, and my team is definitely Somerset all the way through and through. At this point, I see you shaking your head, which means I have no interest in knowing what your team is at this particular time.
Well,
Because
I have an out. I have an out.
Really? Let's
Yeah.
see what your out is.
My husband is for St. George's, and so by marriage, I have to align myself with him. I'm not from Bermuda originally, and so, I had to pick a team, so it was the smart thing to do. So we're just going to leave it at that.
I would agree with regards to the marriage. You going forward with his team. Yes, we want the marriage to last. Definitely.
It's been 30 years, and I'm going to have to just hang in there. But those that are listening, perhaps from other parts of the world, Somerset and St. George's are diehard competitors here on the island, and once a year, cup match time, you can go online and read up the history of cup match. one half of the island. Somerset plays the other half of the island, St. George's. Fierce competition in cricket over a 2-day period. It's a wonderful time to visit the island, but the competition and the spirit of competition is so much fun, and it's something that I've grown to really enjoy and accept as a part of being in Bermuda. All right, so let's jump right in. So what got you into being a personal stylist?
Oh my goodness. First and foremost, my mom is her own stylist per se. So growing up, that's all I knew as far as is dressing to impress or dressing your best self. As I moved forward into my teen years, my college years, I had girlfriends that will always call me, who are now my clients, requesting that I dress them for specific events happening on the island. And as I moved further on into adulthood, as of now, midlife, I said, you know what? Why not? Why not go ahead and delve into what I'm passionate about, delve into what I love, and delve into also ensuring that, not just taking myself to the next level, but also women around me by based on what they are actually wearing on a day-to-day basis, which allows them to feel great about themselves. So that's basically what got me started, knowing that styling, clothing, color, and how you feel really speaks to me. And I wanted to filter it out to the general public, especially women.
I love that. I love I not just love your journey, but again, the role that our environment and our childhood play in setting us up for those things that become meaningful pursuits and meaningful livelihood, and a livelihood that combines our passion and motivation and drive and purpose to be able to have that come together so nicely is wonderful to experience at this stage of our lives. You notice I'm saying our because I can relate so much to what it is that you're saying. And I thank you for sharing those skills, and acknowledge your mom for exposing you to what it feels like and what it looks like to be your best. So tell me a little bit about maybe think of a client, say over the last year or so, that you've worked with where you have seen through your client that experience of transformation.
I had a client earlier this year who basically felt that she was no longer able to dress her body shape. She has, over the years, her body shape has changed, and she has not really delved into taking care of herself. And so she felt compelled to reach out to me to do some transformation of what she looks like on a daily basis with regards to what she wears. And so when we met, like you and I, it was a pre-session, and she just really shared her soul with me as far as where she is and where she would like to be. And that's what I love about meeting with the clients prior to the actual styling session, is because I get to know them on a personal level. So then we were actually styling on the day. It was such a transformation of who she went from being to who she became. She felt it was tear-jerking in many ways from her end to see that she still is a beautiful woman, although how she feels and what she feels she looks like is not what she was years ago. But the style of the clothing that was in her wardrobe that were restyled actually gave her so much power, so much more confidence, that I left the session knowing that she felt extremely pleased with what we had transpired. So much so that we are now on another journey, specifically for a celebration with regards to herself and her family, that we will meet up again. And so that is something that I feel has really been an inspiration for me going forward in this business journey.
Fantastic. We're both coaches, so I do a lot of corporate coaching, corporate training, and also do a lot of executive coaching. And so I know what it feels like to work with a client who comes in one way and leaves the way that they desire to be, and the transformation that takes place, and the privilege that we have to be a part of that, and to co-create something with that client that they never would have been able to create on their own. So it is magical, and it is one of a kind, right? And it is personal and unique in nature from one client to the other. And I'm thinking, I am north of 50 and loving it. And our bodies do change, as women, whether you've had children or not, your body does change. Once you've gone through menopause, I've been reading Oprah's recent magazine about everything you need to know about menopause. So I feel like a mini expert here, but just the significant amount of changes that takes place and really alters the shape of our body. And so it's learning to embrace the change that you're going through, and to honor that, and to lovingly learn how to dress the body that you have and not the one you wish you have. And so there is so much of that internal self-esteem that has to be redefined about what beautiful looks like, redefined around your view of yourself and the acceptance that comes with that. So you are right. It's not about putting clothes on a body. It's deeper than that. So we know that as I do a lot of work in the communication space, and I talk a lot about the impact of personal appearance in making that wonderful, strong and positive first impression, which takes about 3 to 6 seconds. So before you even say a word, you're saying so much with the way that people see you, what you are wearing. And I say a lot of times, if someone tells you, oh, it doesn't matter what you wear as long as you're great at your job, they're doing you a disservice. And I'm here as often as I can to say that that person doesn't wish you well if somebody tells you that, because that is why the fashion industry is billions of dollars, because it does matter what you wear. So I want to find out from you, how do you decide how to style a client in a professional versus a personal kind of event or social event, and how do you decide what is appropriate and what isn't? Walk me through that.
Sure. So first and foremost, we look at the body shape of the individual, and the body shape speaks to what their style is. One person that would wear a particular black fitted dress may not work for the next person. And this is what I go through with the client to determine what specific attire would actually be linked with their body and where they're going. So for the most, we know in advance, excuse me, as we dress the individuals, that is going to be for professional or it's going to be personal. If it is professional, I ask them questions around what type of career do you have? And in some instances, some of them are very much content in where they are, especially based on their age. And then you have other clients that are younger that I tell them to dress for where they want to go. So it's all about knowing the client, knowing what they want with regards to how to dress them on a professional level. With a personal level, again, it's about learning about that particular person. And also what event they will be going to, or what events they attend often, because it could be overwhelming for the stylist if we don't know exactly what we are going into style for. And so I've had clients that were one-off. They're going to a wedding. Again, I will focus on the wedding celebration and the dress code for that. And then I had individuals that were hired me to do seasonal dressing. So that means I would tell them some of the trends and they determine whether or not they are in support of that. Or I would tell them basically this particular color will complement you because of the particular season of colors. And so that's how I go around for the most part to determine what is best suited for each client.
That is really helpful. I'm sitting here also thinking about, sometimes a social event can be a work event. So like, you may have, like we have the Sale GP coming up, it might be a work event. So how do you straddle the two?
So let's look at Gen Zs. We talked about that a bit when we were at our breakfast. And so with Gen Zs, to me, that's an easier individual to actually shift from professional to personal, because they tend to wear a bit more of the casual wear to work. And so they may wear a blazer during the day, and in the evening time, if they're going to something that is less professional or less social per se, they can then take the jacket off. And so those were some of the things that they can do. They can either change their shoes if they're going to a cocktail after work, from being in the comfortable flats to maybe putting on a kitten heel. And so those are some examples that I will give or share with the clients as I move forward with them to determining what is it that they're going to celebrate or
I
partake.
love that. It's being able to dress to kind of transition between one, one kind of requirement location kind of in the office and then socially. Now we're in a hybrid environment. So when I get dressed, I may start working from home, which is like, just down the hallway,
Yeah.
which is where I am today. But then
Mhm.
after this particular interview, I have to scootle off to an event outside and then head back to my office in the city. So what is your recommendation? Because so many people have kind of lost sight of appropriateness on screen and then transitioning that into the office. What are some tips or techniques or advice that you can share with those that work at home or may start working from home, have to head into the office? How can you move into more appropriate dressing to be able to transcend and to transfer back and forth between virtual locations and in person?
Well, in today's world, especially with the Gen Zs and millennials in particular, they tend to dress more comfortable, casual comfortable, as we call it. And so I would encourage them, as well as us in our midlife or moving north to 60, as you put it. I would definitely encourage them, if they're on the virtual, to definitely have on something that is from the top up, that is professional looking. And if you are on a schedule like you said you are, I would definitely dress the entire body and perhaps have on some comfortable shoes. All you have to do is hop up from the virtual and move on to your next step, which is out of your home, right? I would also ensure that when we look at comfort, we are not looking at comfort as far as athleisure. We're looking at comfort that is a bit more comfortable with regards to slacks or a more loose blazer. We're moving into summer, so that will be more of a loose clothing shirt for those individuals that are moving from virtual to brick and mortar. So those are some suggestions that I would have for them.
Thank you. And I really wanted to address that because this is the normal way of working, where we may spend Monday and Wednesday at home and the other days we're in the office. So it's having a wardrobe that is able to flex, right? To flex with you. And if you're a busy mom and you have to pick kids up and go to the grocery store, etc., think of all of that in mind as you're putting yourself together for that entire day. So as we're heading into spring and into summer, what's the new style? Is there a color that is popping for this time of year?
Yeah, so there are three main colors that I look at with regards to where I gather my information from. And those three colors are more of in the orange family, the lilac family, and the yellow gold family. For the most part, those colors are very popular. You'll see them in most of the retail stores at this juncture. And I would encourage individuals to step out of their box. Some people prefer to be in the neutral colors, and you can go ahead and be in your neutral colors, but add one of those colors to your wardrobe this summer, and you'll see how you feel more summery, you feel more sunny when you add color to your wardrobe. So go for it.
I'm a recovering person from the black, off-white, beige person, having spent 3 decades in the reinsurance industry as an underwriting executive. And so that was my go-to. Not only was it safe, it was practical, raising 3 kids as well. So I'm kind of new to the game of color and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I literally wear a ton of colors now. And one of the things I'm into this is the first time I'm actually sharing this. One of the things I'm into is color blocking.
Mm,
And I find it to be really interesting. For me, it's really pushing me out of my comfort zone. So you can't see what I'm wearing at the bottom, but I have on this really kind of cornflower kind of color top. And then my skirt is a really bright, vivid green accordion pleated skirt.
I love it.
And yes, I thought you would. And I am really pushing myself to embrace color and to use color to sometimes lift my mood. So I might not be feeling in the morning when I get up, you know, in terms of wearing a bright green accordion pleated skirt, but there's something happens when I put it on. I'm like, okay, that looks good. I'm
That's a,
ready, you know,
yeah,
I'm
that's a good
ready.
point that you're
Yeah.
making with regards to the mood, because
Mhm.
that is actually 101 when you actually do a color class. You know, our colors that we wear determines our mood, believe it or not. You can wake up feeling unwell, feeling like I do not wish to go to work, but the minute you put a color on and look in that mirror, it just makes a world of a difference. It changes your way of thinking about yourself. So when you speak about color blocking, yes, I would definitely encourage people to try it. It does make a world of difference. Color blocking, meaning you have two colors. It could be an orange and a yellow. It could be a red and a blue, Somerset all the way. Or it could be a green and a blue, as what Lorene has mentioned earlier. So try that. That is just one way that you can actually move away from the norm, or move away from the ordinary to be the extraordinary you.
Thank you. And it's also a great way to extend your wardrobe. So, you know, you might have worn that green skirt in the winter time, and now you can add blue to it, or you can add purple or violet or something to that same skirt, and it just wakes the outfit up, and you just, you know, maybe wear more of a summer shoe below, and it just elevates your looks. It's a great way to extend your wardrobe and to play around and to have fun, which is a big part of this too, right, Nicole? Is
Yes. Yeah.
having fun getting dressed, right? And really thinking about what activity do I have coming up tomorrow? What type of energy do I want to emit? How do I want to show up in that space? What type of impact do I want to make in that space? And therefore putting some real strategic thinking about not just the practicality of what to wear, but how you want others to receive and to experience you.
It also speaks to sustainability of the
Actually,
work.
let's talk about that, because that was one of my questions as well. You know, when I
Yeah,
thought about extending your wardrobe, because we
for
have way
sure.
too much, I'm putting myself in there, way too much clothes in our closet. And we
For
really
sure.
need to be a little bit more sensible, not just about you buy something and take something out. I know that as well. But using the color blocking and these creative ways of extending and reusing things that you use in the winter and the summer is a great way to be sustainable as well as a
Yeah, so
fashionista.
take for example, if you have a strapless dress or a strapless shirt, and most would say I either wear it in the evening time to a grand function. I am challenging you now to use that or wear that during the winter occasions. You can wear it with an under shirt, or you can wear a tight blouse, or you can wear it with a button-down shirt and have it as an overlay. So there's many ways that you can actually wear different items that you would traditionally wear during a particular season, which will allow us to sustain our climate, our world, and also if you don't wish to restyle, remember you can always do consignment, which is very popular for our younger people. And I'm sure for others as well, but I know for the younger people, they want to ensure that they're saving their money. At least I'm hoping that is the case. And they can, give back and also receive at the same time.
Thank you. So it's a win-win all around, a win-win all around. Thank you so much, because I really wanted to touch on the sustainability aspect of what we wear and how we can be more creative in terms of being responsible in that regard. So can you tell me a little bit about, and oh, I did go on your Instagram and look at how you wore different things, and you did the change up as well. So you're doing your thing there, and I love that. Okay, so what would you say are some tips that you can share about remaining stylish and comfortable when you travel? Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is certainly in Bermuda, oftentimes you're traveling and it doesn't have to be for business, but we know that 21 square miles, that there's a lot of people that are traveling on business. Your boss could be in the airport. Your boss's boss could be in the airport. There's a myriad of people that could be in the airport. And I know you might be on vacation and thinking, it doesn't matter, I'm just chilling and I can wear whatever I want to wear. I generally have a rule of thumb around dressing yourself so that you can feel comfortable no matter who you run into, wherever. So let's talk a little bit about either traveling for business or traveling for personal reason, and just being mindful that the people that you may run into may be people that can have an impact on your career future, and or making sure that the image that you're emitting is consistent with who you are, okay? And who you present yourself to be. So not asking people to morph into something they're not, but just being mindful that there can be moments where you can be caught off guard if your appearance is not at the level that it needs to be. So let's talk about the airport. Summer's coming, there's gonna be a lot of traveling. And I know a lot of friends and colleagues and clients of mine that travel a lot on business. What are your go-to tips?
So first off, I would encourage them to have a capsule wardrobe. And that capsule wardrobe would definitely have something that speaks to comfort as well as casual comfort, because we are traveling, we're going on the airplane. Like you mentioned, it could be for personal or it could be professional. And a casual wardrobe basically is having X amount of pieces ranging from the top and the bottom. So it could be where you have 3 tops and 4 bottoms, or four tops and 6 bottoms. And each of those pieces you will wear on the 10-day trip, but you wear them in different ways. So we're going to restyle those outfits. When you're at the airport, I would definitely encourage you to have something that goes around the shoulders, like a shawl, and nothing that you're going to actually just pull out and not iron, but I would encourage you to iron the shawl to keep you warm while you're on the flight. And again, it looks classy while you're at the airport, whether it be sitting in the lounge or outside in the waiting area. I would also encourage you to have something that you can put your laptop, your cell phone, a larger sort of a bag that you can store all of your technology, as well as your reading books or your Kindle or your laptop. But you want to look the part, at the same time feel very comfortable. So the tips, I would say, a tote bag and a shawl, definitely, as well as pack lightly, which means that you can organize a capsule wardrobe.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I just returned from a long weekend trip with my husband, and I remember thinking exactly that. Everything needs to serve a purpose. Comfort, sleek, very comfy. Not all the buckles and bells and all that, just lovely flowy pants, comfy shoes that just looks great, that feels great on, because that also helps you to project that nice confidence. And a shawl is lovely. It tucks nicely in your tote. And I like the point you make about having a tote, because nothing is more looked so not very polished when you have stuff all over the place. So just, I'm the Longchamp queen with those bags. I mean, I just zip that stuff and I have like bag within the bag within the bag. But one zip and everything is nice and clean. Everything is in its place and you look really polished, comfy, relaxed, and you can feel confident in any scenario.
Sure, and the tote bag is a one-stop shop or one-stop convenient accessory, meaning if you want to change your shoes, so if you're going on the flight and you want comfort, you can slip off or slip on a pair of very flats, as you mentioned. But if you're going to a business meeting within an hour after, but you're not going to be going right to the hotel, you're going right to the meeting, you just slip them, take the comfies off and put your kitten heels on. So that's another great.
Lifesavers, absolute lifesavers. And just knowing that you look polished and that everything is together, again, it just really builds your confidence and just sets off a really lovely polished appearance. So we've
sure.
covered a lot of topics. We have a minute left. We've covered sustainability. We've covered color blocking, why it matters, the transformation that takes place not only on the outside, but more importantly on the inside, and how to dress the body that you have, and to get support from somebody like yourself. So if someone that's listening to this interview would like to reach out to you, what's the best way they can do that, Nicole?
The best way they can do that, they can look at Styling Granted on Instagram, or stylinggranted.com is my website, or I'm on LinkedIn at Styling Granted. So whichever one of those, you can also email me at stylinggranted@icloud.com. And so any of those avenues, feel free to reach me, or you can get in contact with Lorene as well for my details. But it was a pleasure, Lorene, having this conversation. Appreciate.
I told you time would go quickly, because this is something that we should keep talking about, because it's very, very important for us to continue to emphasize the importance that our appearance does make in terms of our overall success, both in the workplace and outside of the workplace. And people do form impressions very quickly. So it does matter. It does matter. And the work that we do, that I do, and that Nicole does, is because we care about those invisible things that people may not say something to you about. We will say it because we want you to succeed. We want to set you up to succeed, to be your best self, to be the very best version of yourself. And we hear that a lot, because it is true. We have versions of ourselves. My 20-something self is not my 30-something self. So dressing appropriately for your age and for the body that you have, and making sure that you are attractive, that you're confident, that you're bold, that you're taking risks, that you are reinventing yourself, that you're having fun again with looking great and feeling great, is really the purpose of this conversation. So thank you so much for being a part of Huddle Up. It's a platform where we take a few minutes and we just huddle, and we just give some really good nuggets and some information that our listeners can take with them and up-level themselves, and make sure that they are, again, investing not just in themselves, but investing in their careers and investing in their personal life, so that they can be the very, very best person that they can. But thank you. You've made this fun. And I look forward to seeing you. I know we'll be collaborating together in the near future, and I'm excited about what that will look like. Thank you again.
Thank you.